Maybe I thought we could kick off the conversation with sort of how do you demonstrate your, I think you frame it as employee value proposition, but who you are to a future employer?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think taking a step back first and thinking about what is valuable about you is really, really important. And there's a step before you do that, and that is to think about what's important to you in a career. So, it's looking at things like your strengths, your motivations, your interests, what are your natural abilities, so within your strengths, and most importantly, what your values are and how that can align with the right employer. And then it's looking at your employee value proposition. So we've all heard the term employer value proposition, but in the book I do go through what I call an employee value proposition, which the foundation of which is firstly your values, as I mentioned, which are really, really important. And then really moving through areas like your education, your work experience, your skills, and then in more minute detail, things like your systems and industries that you've worked in or with. Those can be really important to build your employee value proposition. But the key thing about an employee value proposition is differentiation. So often I see you can see quite generic CVs, and when you actually speak to people behind those CVs, they're actually really unique, unsurprisingly, and they often have some amazing points of differentiation, but they perhaps haven't articulated that particularly well in the CV. I'm just really lucky that I decided to call that person, and that they did have that. So some of the areas that people sometimes miss out are things like charity volunteering or extracurricular activities. There's a good case study in the book where a candidate applies, it's got a CPA qualification, looks really similar to lots of other candidates that have applied, and again, very lucky that they get called by the employer, and the employer finds out, oh, they're actually the captain of the local cricket team. They've shown leadership qualities, teamwork, drive, determination, and all of those were actually more valuable to the employer than the CPA qualification, because tons of people had that in the application process. So your employee value proposition is really about finding a way to stand out to employers and to have a point of difference.